Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
You
How are
survived.
you doing?
I survived the hurricane. Did you?
Oh my god. The hurrah what? Everybody's calling it the hurricane. I'm like, the hurrah what? They had me scared, because I didn't think the pandemic was gonna be something. I honestly was like, at the last minute one day when they were talking about the pandemic, I was like, "Is this shit's real?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to the market then and like buy some stuff." And it was empty. It was like, everybody knows what the market was
Yeah.
like during that pandemic. And I was like, so I did it again this time. I said, get ahead of it, go buy some stuff. And the market was the same way. It took me 35 minutes to check out in the checkout lane. So I have all this food I have no idea what to do with, but I'm happy. I'm happy it wasn't a big deal. Some of
Me
my
too.
neighbors were like, "Shucks," and darn it. And I was like, "Well, what did you want? Like you wanted our
Yeah.
roofs to
Yeah.
fly off?" Like, I don't know. I don't know what everybody wanted and expected, but I'm sure happy it didn't happen. And
No,
the
I had
hurricane
neighbors who
and then
prepared for weeks and weeks. I'll be honest with you. I half-assed it, Nicole. I went through one case of water and I bought like 8 Pop-Tarts to say, I'll walk to my neighbor's house if things are really bad. I know everyone else is prepared around here.
well, it in our house, it actually turned into an earthquake preparedness because we're in this place new and we didn't have a plan. And so I think I told you this over text. I heard my shower doors rattling, like the glass was hitting each other. And I was like, what the hell is that? So I go running towards glass. And I was like, and Keegan comes running in my room. She's like, my bed is moving. And I was like, okay, this is an earthquake. And it was over. And then we came up with a whole like plan. Where do we stand? I was like looking around, and then I had to like walk around and see what's our plan if the earthquake happens, because apparently it's more alarming than a hurricane. But I mean, I think we needed the water. And
We
I
did.
don't say that for the poor people who are experiencing flooding by any means, but the rest of us needed water. So it is what it is. And Keegan had
Yep.
fun. She was out there playing in it. It was like 80 degrees and
You
the
aren't kidding.
warmest
The weather was
rain.
great.
Yeah.
It was great. I did the same thing. I walked out there with my dog and just loved it. The weather was perfect
Yeah.
to stand out in the rain.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment.
Did you go out? Did you get a product for the week? Did you
I
get
got
something to talk?
You know what I did? Okay, so my kid, she likes all the high-end shit.
Yeah.
And so she talks me into buying her this Christian Dior lip oil that everybody has, everybody wants. Okay. I buy it for her. And this is before school started, and she loses it. Okay. And she's in tears. I mean, crying. And I'm like, I don't know I don't even know how to deal with this. Okay. I'm sitting in there like, I'm not good with tears, first of all. Second, this is over lip gloss. Is it that you're mad at yourself that you didn't know where it was? Da 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 da. So she's so upset. And it turns out she's just mad that she was irresponsible with it. So that made me feel bad. So I buy her another one. Now you're talking they're $45 a
Oh
pop.
boy.
Mhm. So I buy her another one, and then she comes in my room, she's like, "Guess what I found?"
At least you
Look
found
all
it.
in
And
my pocket. Yeah.
let me tell you, I give you credit, Nicole, for like if that was me back in the day losing something that cost $45, my dad would have laid into me. It would have made me feel so worse than I already felt. So I give you credit as a parent, knowing that she felt bad and you didn't make her feel worse.
No, because listen, self-guilt is enough. And I hate that. I hate that feeling. It was funny because neighbor just came over to me. She was upset about something, and she laid into me about something, and I was like, "Whoa, nice to meet you." And I like drove off in the middle of her rant. And she came over and to apologize, which was so sweet, but she was holding this like guilt. And I said to her, "You got to release that. Like, I'm not thinking about it. Don't be weird around me. Don't feel bad about me. Like, I'm going about my day. Don't do that to yourself, because I think that people really do that to themselves. It makes you sick. It's
Of
not,
course.
I'm not into that. I'm into self-forgiveness.
Good for you.
Easier said than done, right? But
Yeah.
for everybody else, for everybody else, please forgive yourself. So I went online and was like, there's got to be something equivalent to this goddamn Christian Dior $45 lip gloss. And there is. There definitely is. but I'm sitting here and I'm holding the original. I'm actually holding the Christian Dior. Let me go grab
Okay.
the dupe. It seems to be that Keegan has also taken the dupe. I kid you not. This is the story of my life. I go in the drawer to get something and it's gone. But I did get this, which is from CVS, and it is it's super good. I like it a lot. And it's super cheap. It's made from CoverGirl. It's called Clean Fresh Yummy Lip Gloss. And it is equivalent to the Christian Dior. It also, ladies, it has the new big applicator, which we all love it. It goes on really well and it's cheap, super cheap. And I even had like a discount. Because if you're a CVS shopper, you know, you get those right before you go in, you have to search in the app for your discounts. But CoverGirl, good job. Good job. And for me, you know, this is the new, like, this is what everybody wants, this style. And the one I did buy on Amazon, I'll bring it next week, is just like this. So I know that this is what everybody wants. The packaging is so important. But this is like, brings me back to like my childhood. So, you know, lip smackers
Good.
and all of the good lip gloss was always looked like this. So I'm getting used to the new packaging. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It's great. I love it. Works just as well. I don't know what the hell the price difference is about.
It's the name. It's the
It's
name.
the name. It's the name. But sometimes the products are worth it, but sometimes they're just not. But there you have it. So anyways, today let's stop talking about
Speaking
me
of
and my
childhood.
products.
Yeah.
Speaking of childhood. Oh my God. And you know what's so funny is when our friend Tommy said that he was marrying Pinky, right? It was Pinky Tuscadero. I lost my mind. And when he said he was kidding, I was like, my day was ruined. I was so mad. I was like, that was so it for me. So let's introduce Anson Williams, our favorite.
Mary Pinky Tuscadero?
Yeah,
Are you
Pinky
know
Tuscadero.
who you're talking about? You know who this person was? You know why she was off the show after a couple episodes? Do you know why she was in the penitentiary, the pen, for a few
She
years?
was?
Shot up a neighbor's
she
house.
shot up the
Yeah.
neighborhood. Yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
what?
yeah. What? Yeah. She went to the pen, man. She got it. She went nutso. Started shooting up the cars on the street. She didn't hurt anybody, thank God, but she was ex-nay out of there. The pen.
Any idea what set her off?
Not at all. Maybe just her character. By the way, I wanted to say something. You were mentioning about the products and all that. Because, you know, I was in the product business about 20 years. We were on QVC for 10 years. So we created probably 40 products, a lot of beauty products. And I'll just it's all marketing. And by the way, what you're holding and it's the same product. Let me just give you an example. You know, creme la mer, that $175 little.
Yeah.
You know what the product cost is on that? $1.
Oh my gosh.
$1. And all they do, that they'll dust it with some cockamamie new whatever from whatever plant that does nothing. Everyone's looking for the miracle pill. It's all the same. Really, get a washcloth. It's kind of rough. Exfoliate. Trust me, you'll get the same results. Go into clinicals. It's probably better. But yeah, so anyway, you're right. Please tell people about products, because a lot of times even these expensive product companies, they have a low-level line and a different name you don't even know about.
Yeah.
It's $6 at CVS.
I know. I just learned about that.
It's the same exact product. Exact. Look at the ingredients. It's just normal packaging and not all the fuss and muss. But yeah, you're doing a good thing. Let people know.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's the only way. Like, it's so crazy how much money they'll take from you. I could go into Sephora and spend, a month's worth of payments for everything, and it's like there's got to be a better way. So yeah, I'm trying.
What you need to do is you got to look at the ingredients list, and the amount of it. The top
right,
one,
first.
the most amount is the first, second, third, fourth, and it keeps going down. And a lot of times you'll say, and the new blah, blah, blah from the blah, blah Australian tree underneath next to the beetle bug, we found it's a youth cure. They'll be at the end. It'll be like a little dust, right? And so anyway.
I always do that with food. I've always been an advocate of that of food. And I only recently started doing it with products because I brought a product on. My daughter does it. She's super concerned about it. She'll say to me, oh, but that product contains blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, what is she talking about? And I did it recently because I had to go buy a sunburn cream or gel or something to relieve her and I knew we were going to be in a lot of pain. And I went in there and so I did. And I've, I'm blind as a bat. So I've got my phone out with the magnifier on it. And like alcohol was the first ingredient on most of them, and then it went down, and like aloe vera was like at the bottom. I'm like, I've got an aloe vera plant. Like, why am I buying this? And I did find one that was newer that I'd never seen before, and it had other things in it, and so I ended up buying that, and it worked quite nicely. But you're right, people have to realize the first listing is the biggest ingredient, and then it makes its way down. Which so you don't have to read very far. You don't even have to read the whole thing. You just have to read.
You have to be careful with sunscreen too. There's a couple of toxic ingredients in there you want to stay away from. It's a little expensive, but it really is a great product, and it's organic. It's called Boo, B-U, Boo. And it's an all-natural sunscreen, very clinically proven, really, really good for you.
Oh,
so
where do you get that? Do you know where
you can get it online?
Yeah.
Yeah. Writing it down.
It's really
now.
Boo, like Malibu.
Well, that's where he lives. That's it.
Oh, is it? But, yeah, I was like, because I used to live out there. We call it the Boo. Yeah,
exactly.
I love that.
Love that. It's very big in Canada. The product. Anyway, just so you know. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I love that so much. So wait, any more plans to run for mayor again, or is this something you're?
That's this running. It's like I couldn't make up these stories. Like what a mini series for Netflix, man. These characters in this community. Oh my God. It's like I thought I was running against Trump, and we're all Democrats. It was quite something. No, I don't know. You know something? The best thing that happened was losing, because I gained such an education going through it. And I really learned how cities run. I learned so many things going through it, and met so many great people. And we lost by 1/16%, like 38 votes.
Yeah, it was something like 45 votes or something, right? It was like very low. Yeah, it was a very tight race.
4 were illegal. Yeah. So anyway, but so I don't. It's a very unstable council. 2 are great, 3 are part. It's like Washington in a very small. It's a subject group for Washington right here. How they're running things politically, and nonprofits that are becoming political. All these rich families doing this, doing that. It's like a soap opera. You can't create these characters. And 3 of the council members are part of that group, and they're getting the majority. So they're getting some really. It's just poorly run. They're making just a mess. Major lawsuits now, everything else. So I'd only run if you feel you can really do something. And you can't do something unless you have the right counsel. You can't do something unless you get rid of the cabal behind it. Then, maybe, because if running for mayor, it's military service. I mean, it doesn't pay anything, but you have to be here. You can't go taking gigs. You can't, you get offers. You can't go out of the country. You have to be there for meetings and council meetings. So it's a commitment. And and for myself, if I don't feel I can really make it worthwhile and really do the job for the community, then I'm not going to bother with it.
I get it. How long have you been there? You've obviously lived there a long time.
I've had a house here for 13 years. I've been here full time about 5 years.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So not that long. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right on the nose with that. So the best thing is not getting the job, getting all the lesson from it and meeting all the people, but not having to do the job. Yeah. That sounds.
Well, literally, what's kind of interesting and I'm not being egotistical at all, but it's so funny. This mayor would never debate, would not debate, would absolutely refuse because she's unqualified. And everyone else writes things for her, and it's an unusual situation when a mayor doesn't run. Someone else is really doing the job, and it's like you're the puppet. But would not debate. And I met so many people that now today, because of what's happening now, by electing this group, the city's in an uproar. And we'd probably win by 1,000 votes tomorrow. Because but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter unless you can do something, unless you have, a collaboration, and we don't right now. So, but the thing that's great is I would love to find somebody that really could do a great job, and a couple of new council people, and use what I've gained to get them elected. Like they say, own a politician, don't be a politician.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm hoping this for the country, not just for Ojai, but for the country. Can we find somebody qualified? Yeah.
What's going on here in Ojai echoes Washington. It's exact. In fact, if you look back, a paper, one of the entertainment online papers, The Wrap, The Wrap, they did a whole investigation story on it as it was running. And they did a very detailed investigation of what's going on in this community. And you should look it up.
Okay.
You should look up The Wrap and just look. I'm sure there's a way to just put my name in or something. But they did an in-depth story on what's going on.
A little shady Ojai.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I think it's saying about a lot of cities. Yeah.
Yeah, the facts, right?
We're supposed to be. We're supposed to represent the best community. We really are, and it used to be that. But what's going to happen here is interesting. Now, you lived in Malibu, right? And there were a lot of the same problems in Malibu with in terms of council, the political system there. And they made all these terrible decisions, and prices went down, and it started really affecting the community. All of a sudden, we start losing our middle class. We have less than half the students in Malibu High than we had 10 years ago. Guys like Larry Ellison come in when they're vulnerable and buy everything up and do everything that you never wanted to happen. But you're vulnerable, and they have the power to do it. So you bring in the Nobu, you bring in, and all that echoes to a changing community. And it becomes richer, and the middle class goes away, and affordable housing doesn't happen, and the schools, everybody's getting affected by it. Well, that's happened. The same thing's happening here. They're not being futurists and not seeing the cause and effect of their actions. These billionaires, Ojai, are you kidding? They're just, woo, this is a cute resort. Let's just wait, and then let's just get in there and then just blow it up.
Yeah.
And that's my prediction. So.
I think it's kind of happening everywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah. What area are you in? What area are you in?
I'm like right at Toluca Lake, Burbank border area.
Oh, that's right. That's where I grew up. Burbank High.
Yeah, I know. You went to Burbank High, right?
And I was just invited to attend the 115th year anniversary of Burbank High. You should go. It's September 1st.
No,
September
Anson, I'm scared of that. I'm scared of that. That school. It's scary. A lot of scary things happen on that campus. It's a rough school these days. There was just recently some shootings. No, all the kids this year now in Burbank have to wear a lanyard with their ID, and they have to scan before they go in because some crazy stuff, some bathroom incidents, some shooting incidents. Yeah,
you're kidding.
It's like no, I don't know. There's like and I'm really funny though because I'm like it's that side of Burbank. Once you cross the bridge, it's two different cities. So when it comes to like going to movies and walking and entertainment and restaurants, I like to go over the bridge. The rest of the time, I just stay right here. And, Burbank is really one of the most safe cities left around here,
Yeah.
at least in LA County, but it's still now it's like it's that side. It's that side. So
Really?
yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting deal. I don't know. I don't know how I feel
Yes.
about the high schools.
Gosh, it changed. I know growing up, we had no money. We were lower middle class, but you didn't need it. There were so many good programs in the community at the time. It was decades and decades ago. But it was just a wonderful city to live in, with your own police, your own fire, your own school, school district.
Yeah, I don't mean to bash it because I do love that. I do feel safe here. I feel like it's clean, it's pretty, all of that. But you have like what you were talking about where the middle class is gone. So, right, you have really wealthy people, and then you have people who are struggling a little bit more. And it doesn't mix well, especially in the schools. There's a lot
True.
of fights, there's a lot of fighting, there's just weird stuff kids act out because of what's
Yeah.
going on at home, coming out of the
Yeah.
pandemic. It's like, all this aggression is
Yeah.
pent up.
Yeah.
So yeah, the schools are kind of scary right now. I'm not interested in going there.
It's so funny. Ron Howard went to Burroughs,
Yes.
and I went to
love that.
Burbank. It's like
It's so funny,
and
right?
then
The two rivals.
And then Gary Marshall had his theater there. It was the Falcon.
It's still here.
Yeah. And Scott, his son's part of it now, who I mentored as a director years ago. He shadowed me on different shows, and we're still very close. But yeah, so Toluca Lake, Burbank, Toluca Lake's part of me, and it's and Bob's Big Boy every Friday after the game. Every Friday after the game. Oh yeah.
They do car shows there now every Friday. So there's like the classic car. Yeah. The parking lot's super fun. Yeah. We go walk by there. Yeah, Burbank is special. It's a special place. By all means, it definitely is. It's just that there's some, violence happening, and it's just scary. And you have, the old conservatives here too. So it's like, it's still very conservative. So then you have like the Trump people. So it was like, we're in Burbank, you're right next to Disney Studios, but there's people with like big Trump banners and trucks driving around screaming Trump. And you're like, where am I? Is this part of a show? Like, where am I? It's just, it's strange.
I remember for years I sold shoes on San Fernando Road, but back when it was called the Golden Mall, laughing and jokes about it. John, where it was like it was literally paved in, so you no cars.
Yes.
And I worked at Maury's Shoes, Al's Bootery, his outlet store, and Burkow's. He owned all four. And I switched, selling shoes. Started at Penny's, which is no longer there, I don't think.
No, it just yeah.
And
I know.
and now,
go ahead.
Now I go down there, and it's unbelievable, like 800 restaurants, and I think the movie theaters there, I think they're the highest grossing in the country. I wish I was selling shoes now. It's like, so you got a lot going on.
Yes, I know. I was recently looking at pictures of when it was the Golden Mall, and I was like, they should make it that again. Because during the pandemic, they kind of did. They closed down the streets, right? And they let everybody walk down the middle of the street, no more cars, and all the tables and chairs. It was all al dente. It was really, really nice. And they've kept some of it, but then, there's cars. Cars ruin everything. But
it's so funny because selling shoes one day, I'm looking out, and there's the Laughing Cast. Joanne Worley, Judy Carn, and a couple, and they're filming, and I'm like, what the heck? And of course, they had a break, so they come in the shoe store. I was speechless. Oh, I'm like speechless. And then years later, now you're happy you meet Joanne Worley again, and it was just so interesting. And to recap that,
Did she buy anything? Did she buy any shoes that day?
She didn't buy anything. But I was a good salesman. Honestly, you said, a lot of times selling shoes tells you a lot. Really, really gives you the insight to the character of somebody. Sell shoes, you'll know whether to vote for them or not. If they we'll come in there, and and it was a really hard job because in these particular stores, you sold everything. They come in for the little baby, to the husband, to the kid, to the wife. So you're working your buns off. But sometimes ladies would come in just to be catered to. And you sit there and you're bringing out 10 pairs of shoes, Oh, I'll think about it. I'll go, no, you're not. You're going to buy one of these. You're not gonna think about anything. You're going to think about what color you want right here, or you're putting them back.
What is the storage room? I'm interested what the storage room looks like in a place like that, because I would imagine it's bigger than the storefront. Is it?
Oh, the storage room. But here's the thing in the storage room. First of all, you've never had a job in retail like selling shoes. I mean, you're right here with people's feet. In many different ways, people bring their feet in. Sometimes washed, sometimes not. Anyway, and they start. So we had in the back. It was called the cuss wall, and it was padded, so you could go. Bang, 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 fuck. Hi, here we have the blue number 3. Then here's the other thing that killed me. They go in and I go, it's perfect. Oh, it's too tight. I said, it's perfect. You need to stretch it. I said, you don't need to stretch it. It's not going to work. I need it stretched. I'm not. I go, okay. I go, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go back in there. Fuck you, but bam, bam, bam. Then I stood there for I counted to about 60 seconds, 90 seconds. I come back out. She goes, oh, that's much better. Didn't touch it. Welcome to the shoe world, man.
And that's back when you used to have to lace them up and put them on people's feet for them, right? You put them on and take them off. I remember those days.
And then you have to give them a little ped. And she goes, you put it on. I go, I ain't putting that on, that foot. I ain't putting that on. Put it on, the peds. But the one thing that was really bad, they used the store owners used the same ped on 50 people. So I need tweezers to give it to them. Boy, you're bringing back memories.
It's so funny because today they just kind of throw the box at you. And they're like, try it on. And I think my kid would freak out if somebody tried to put the shoe on her foot. She would be like, don't look at my feet, don't touch my feet. So it's funny how the world has changed like that. Yeah, I remember you'd sit down and my mom would always say, we were those people. We had clean socks on, we had clean feet. Right. And my mom would say, put clean socks on. We're going to try on shoes. Yeah. And oh my
God. We had the shoehorn. No, I'd be there. They'd bring in a 6-month-old baby. They would try putting those on. Yeah. From that, the husband was he'd take anything just to get out of there. It's just fine. We don't have brown. We have black. Black's fine. Good. Great. Now you don't have to buy it. It's fine. Fine. Can we go? Can we get out of here?
100%. Oh my God. I love that so much.
I'm not exaggerating either. I'm not exaggerating. Oh, and then there was a thing called PMs. And it meant you get more, you get 50 cents more or something for that shoe. And usually it's because they got to get rid of them. It's an old style. So you really get good at lying. You come back and you go, I have got something for you. I have got something. It's coming back. I don't. Oh, I used to love those. They're back.
And they're limited edition.
That's it. So I got my 50 cents. Yeah. And then they had add-ons where if you need a little bow on a clip-on bow, a clip-on flower, isn't that much?
Well, that all is back.
Oh no! I was saying, no, but now it's you have 2 pairs of shoes. See, you put it on, and it's a whole different shoe. So you're getting 2 for 1 for this one little addition.
Also think about it. Back in the day, Nicole, not only does he have to put them on their feet, but everyone's smoking cigarettes back in the day. Yep. People are blowing smoke in your face the whole time.
There's ashtrays on the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. It was a great environment. I got to tell you, if anything will give you ambition in life, it's selling shoes. To get the hell out of there. You need any motivation to move your butt to get anything done, you go sell shoes for a week. You'll be flying with success.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Well, so
Hey, Anson.
how did that? So you grew up in Burbank, and then you obviously started working there. What did you get the audition for Happy Days? And like, explain, like, give us some backstory on that. Like, because I know both you and Ron, yeah, you're from Burbank. It's like notorious. Everybody knows it. Everybody talks about it. Burbank brags about it. So, and where did you guys shot at Paramount though, didn't you? Did you?
Yeah, we shot at
Okay.
Paramount. Well, I mean, you know, like most of us, I was just a number in the world. Lower middle class family, 1,200 square foot house, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. And my sister still lives there on Jolly Drive, next to Thomas Jefferson Elementary School.
I love
So
that.
it still has the house. Yeah, it still has a little house. But back then, everybody had a house. The meat cutter had a house. It wasn't like today. It was a much different world where you didn't, getting a house is no big deal. And in fact, if you had a friend living in an apartment, it was rare. Everyone had a house. It was cheap. GI Bills, and gas was what, 24 cents a gallon?
Yeah, it was like the American right to have a house, right? Like that was like everybody's given right that you had land and a house. Yeah.
Right, and they didn't even manage departments. They just worked in departments and could afford a house. You know, so anyway, but I didn't know show business. I could have been in Iowa, Oklahoma. I didn't know anything. So at 18, I left home, and tried to go to school at the same time, selling shoes at the same time. And I decided show business is in my blood, even though I hadn't done anything. So I said, but I have this feeling. So back then, you could get a few friends and actually rent an apartment, because that wasn't very expensive. You literally could make it work. I mean, incredible, and eat. So I started going, I did take singing lessons. So I started going to talent nights around the community. There was Ye Little Club, Jack Halley's by CVS. There was Knickerbocker Hotel, and a couple of others. And you go with your sheet music, and you sing badly, but you learn a lot. So I sang badly for quite a while. You know, it's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's thought it was so good. Everyone's looking. So one of the waiters one night said that he's having an audition for Summer Stock. I go, what's that? What's Summer Stock? Well, that's where they audition people in New York, LA, Chicago for a Summer Stock company, where you'll go someplace and you'll do a different show every 7 days, and a different star comes in for each show, but you're the permanent company. I said, oh, that sounds okay. So he said it's at the Hollywood. It was at the the Masonic Temple on Hollywood Boulevard, and this big old intimidating building. Equity, which is the union for stage performers, they have a rule where there's a non-equity line. So the producers have to look at everybody. After the equity line goes through, they have to look at anyone standing in the non-equity line. So I stand in line with my sheet music name, and I'm standing there, and I see all these disappointed faces coming out from the equity line. You know, really like, So finally it becomes a non-equity line, which is very long. Now, and I'm getting closer to the door to get in, it's like 4 bars and out, you know? My boy, Bill, next, and next. And all these people are coming out just so disappointed. I mean, they're just running them through. I get inside the building, and it was like St. Peter's Cathedral, 800 feet high and echoing, voices echoing out, my boy. I'm like, whoa, and out. I'm thinking, what am I even doing here? What am I even doing here? Just, Anson, just go. Nope. Okay, so finally it's my turn. And you know, being in show business, the scariest audition I ever had in my life, ever. Nothing compared to this. You walk into this ancient room that's forever. And there's this old funky piano and a pianist with a cigarette who's tired as hell. Give me your sheet music. Is this the key? Yeah, all right. and 4 bored people behind this old funky table, just like this, like, oh, just get out of here. And they don't even ask my name. They go, all right, go. So I'm going, you coach the Blues right out of the horn. And I forget the words. And I start making up words. I just start making up words. I don't know what. And they're hysterical. I got through the whole song. And they're hysterical. They're crying with laughter. And they said, what's your name? Anson Williams. Anson, do you dance? Oh, yeah. I don't dance. I am the worst dancer. God did not, like no ability, zippo zero. Well, we're having a callback. And I go, what's a callback? And they're laughing again, thinking I'm joking. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Listen, he said, we're auditioning in New York, Chicago, and LA. They gave me a little background on what they're doing. I've had some people stay to see how they dance. And Jimmy here, and one of the guys stands up, is the choreographer. You're going to go with him and the rest, and they'll teach you a routine. You'll come back in, and we'll see how you do. Great, fine. We go in this room, nothing but mirrors, right? And they start this routine. It's like a Bob Fosse routine. 8-5, 8-5, 5-5, twist, up, down, move, down, boom, boom, twist, up, down, move, but I'm sitting there going, no fucking way. There's no fucking way. I'm going, what the fuck? So I hope I can cuss. Anyway, so I just kind of hiding back, just going, okay, I'm out of here. And then for some reason, when you're desperate, I said, what the heck? So they brought in a few at a time, then it's my turn. I'm in there. I was in the front row. If everyone went right, I went left. If they went up, I went down. I made it a comedy act. I just was, and they're hysterical again. They're hysterical. They're laughing hysterically. And they stop, and then he says, okay, 2 people. Baba stay, you're gonna have a contract. Baba stay, you're gonna have a contract. There's some other, wait outside. And back right then, they signed a contract right there.
Wow.
No age, anything. So, okay, I start to leave. They go, Anson, yeah? Can you wait outside? Now I'm thinking, I did so bad, they're coming out to say, kid, we're doing you a favor, get out of show business. So I'm waiting like this. All these other people going in, signing the contracts, coming out, yeah. And I'm the only one left in the entire joint. And they go, Anson, come on in. So I sit there. And he goes, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. Here's what we're doing. Listen, you sing okay. Quote, you can't dance for shit. But you got something. I said, I do? He said, listen, we have an apprentice program. And there's another apprentice. There's another one we're gonna set you up with. And we'll pay for your gas to get to Kansas City, Wichita, Kansas. We'll pay for your gas. We're not giving you an air flight. You're going to get there. We're going to give you $50 a week. 25 goes to the hotel, and we own you. You will build setups. We will own you. You will be sick of us, and you'll be in the shows where we need to fit you in. And my first words were, "You're going to pay me?" And that was it. So I went back there, and they said, if you do well, if you get through it, we'll sign an equity contract at the end, and you'll be an equity member. So I did it. I went back there, and I got my equity card at the end, and that was the first paying job. Then I could line up in the equity lines. One thing like it's a long. I don't want to be on for 3 hours, but it's a long story. But that's exactly how it happened.
I love that. They saw talent.
Well, I tell people, if you have a strong feeling, don't listen to anybody but yourself. Don't listen to anybody. Don't just go with it. Don't question it. It's leading you somewhere. You feel it. It leads you somewhere. We're not, there's no accidents. It's like, we have places to be. We have to connect with ourselves to find out where to go. So, but that was, so anyway, that was that. And then as far as Happy Days, it's a lot of interesting things that happened in the meantime, but as far as Happy Days, I was finally working as an actor, playing the concerned boyfriend roles. And it was the nodding part. It was 5 pages of this. And I'm waiting for my line. And, I got my one line on the page. They're going, and this is, I'm going, man, I understand. So I have another page to go before my next line. So I am not exaggerating. That's my life. But as a living, I paid the mortgage. So I get this call. Hey, there's this pilot shooting called Happy Days. Yeah, it's a 50s things. We don't know much about it. And back then, they didn't send you any kind of copy or anything. You had to go to the audition early, get your pages.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. So I had this really old funky car, and it was pouring rain the day of the audition. And I'm on my way to go to Paramount Studios, and it breaks down. Everything got the flooding and everything. It breaks down. There's no cell phones, so I have to go find a payphone to get the auto club out. I look like a drowned rat. I mean, I'm just like, you're just out of the shower. And I get back there, and it's about a couple of hours before they get there. And the rain had stopped, but I was still soaked. They finally get there. They get the car started. And I'm thinking, I don't think, I lost, forget the audition. I'm hours and hours late. And something said, nah, go, just go. So I did. I got there 4 hours late, 3 hours late. I mean, just late. And I get through the gate. My name's still there. And I'm going to see Millie Gussie, who's head of television casting at Paramount. This short lady with a cigarette and a gruff voice like this. Tough lady. So I get in. So I get inside and I tell her assistant, hey, I'm so sorry. I look like a drowned rat. My car broke down. And she goes, Anson Williams is here. And screaming out from one of the back offices, he's lucky we haven't cast a potsy. I go, what's a potsy? He goes, here. So I look at the line. I go, oh, okay. I've done comedy. Okay, this is Howie Schertzman. I'm just going to be Howie Schertzman. My friend, it reminds me of Howie. So I'll kind of play him. So I go so there's Millie Gussie. You're still lucky. Here, read with me. So I read with her. She goes, stay here. Goes in another room. I don't care if you're in wardrobe. He's perfect. Get your ass down here. He's perfect. And go way outside in the area, reception area. Okay, so I'm sitting there. This wet, tired man comes walking in, Gary Marshall. And he kind of looks at me and goes into the office. A couple minutes later, come on in. So Gary's sitting there, read with me again. I read again. Gary goes, do you play baseball? And I did. I was really on one of the all-star teams. I go, yeah. He goes, what position? Well, first base. I play first base, but how about outfield? I go, oh, yeah. Okay, so you play baseball. Yeah. Okay, go wait outside. Something, what's going on? So then I'm waiting. And Ron Howard comes in. Sits next to me. Gary was in wardrobe with him. That's where they were. Gary wants us to read together. And that's Ron Howard. I'm going, Jesus Christ. He's like, what? So he's a star. And I'm going, So we go through the thing. We go in and we read for Gary. And he goes, very good. Go wait outside. Again, so now we're both waiting outside. Long time. All of a sudden, these suits come walking through. It's the network. And it's the final okay, but I didn't know. So we go in. Do the scene. They're laughing. Do the scene. Thank you very much. And Ron had the job. And I'm going, thank you very much. That's it? Now I'm pissed. I wasted my whole damn day for this. Thank you very much. So I go home. And back then, the answering machine was like the tape where you rewind it. It's not like any. So I have to go to the bathroom so badly. I get there and the phone's ringing. And I finally get out and I go, hi, where were you? It's my agent. What? You got the part. I go, he says, yes. And it starts tomorrow. He said, you go on for wardrobe fitting tomorrow, you're shooting the next day. I was the last person they saw for the part. And they hadn't, the last one. So that was it. So we did the pilot, and everyone thought, oh my gosh, this is going to sell. Oh my gosh. But it didn't have a Fonzie in it, didn't have a Ralphie in it, a different Mr. C, a different Joni. Marion was in it, Ron was in it.
Am I incorrect? Am I incorrect in thinking that had a different name too? Was it something else and then it spun off into Happy Days?
No, it's Happy Days, New Family in Town, or something like that. What happened, it was a very soft script that Gary Marshall wrote, like Summer 42. And then they decided to play it off in Love American Style to get some of their money back. But the pilot didn't sell. It didn't sell. So I went back to playing concerned boyfriend parts. And then a year later, American Graffiti came out, and Grease was a big hit. And the network thought, wow, didn't we have a pilot? Didn't we have a 50s pilot? Well, let's do it again, but let's make it more like American Graffiti. So I'm filming a movie with Kay Lenz called Lisa Bright and Dark in Marin County. And I get this call. They're going to do another pilot. I go, great. When do we start? No. They think you and Ron might be too old, so they're going to screen test you now. Is it? We're auditioning for the same parts? Yeah. So we go down there, and Ron, who had done a lot of screen tests in his life, I hadn't. He says, we're there together for the wardrobe fitting for the screen test. He said, listen, Anson, I tell you, these things go fast. Let's find where the set is, and let's direct ourselves. And have all these bits, and let's act like they're spontaneous, because Gary Marshall's going to be shooting the test. I got this feeling he'll get into it more. Let's just so we rehearsed ourselves, and we got down there. We were first up, and there were Richie Potsy's all there, including Don Most auditioning for Potsy, Robbie Benson, all these. We're going, oh God, quite a lot of competition. So it's supposed to be 20 minutes. We go in there with Gary, 2 hours. 2 hours. Oh, that's good. Yeah, do that. Yeah. It all worked, right? We come back out. Everyone's white. Everyone else waiting to like audition or have screen test. I walk out. I go, 2 hours, buddies. 2 hours. I just freaked them out. So anyway, we finally we got the parts again. And this time they had a little character called Fonzie. They liked Donnie Most so well, they created Ralph for him. They created the character. He auditioned for Potsy, and they created the character of Ralph for him. What was it? The actor who played Mr. Cunningham, Harold Gould, wasn't available. So they brought Harold Gould. So they brought in Tom Bosley. When I was doing the film Lisa Bright and Dark, there was this wonderful young actress playing her 12-year-old sister, and they're having a hard time finding a Joni. I said, hey, I just worked with this wonderful young actress. Have you auditioned her? They go, no. Her name was Erin Moran. And they brought in Erin, and she got the part of Joni. And so there you have it. And then thank God for Henry, he blew up. He had 7 lines. Fonzie was between Mickey Dolenz and him. The part was written like a Mickey Dolenz, like kind of goofy, and Henry had this whole other take on it. And he went in there with this whole other, it's totally opposite totally opposite the character they wrote. And Tom Miller was just raved about him. Anyway, he changed everybody's mind, thank God, and got the part. And then, there you go. And there's Happy Days. There were 2 pilots. The first one didn't sell, thank God. And the second one, did.
Amazing.
So, I got to ask you, so you're still in your early 20s and you grew up in Burbank. What was it like in the neighborhood where, hey, local boy makes good on this crazy popular show?
Well, I tell you, that was a crazy time because there were only 3 networks, and our average audience was like 52 million a week, not including like 4th of the country, not including the syndication every day. So it was great. Yeah, I got to be Grand Marshal for the parade one year in Burbank. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But Gary Marshall. What?
I was just saying it was appointment watching because there were no VCRs back in the day. It was like either you're in front of that TV when Happy Days was on Tuesday night, or you missed it. You had to be home when Happy Days was on.
It created a real camaraderie around the TV set. Interesting, just an interesting dynamic. The adults related to it, and the kids related to it. So it was hip for everybody. And and they actually, people keep asking why was it such a hit? Why? The writing is great, but there's just that it factor that happens once in a lifetime of chemistry, and just something happened with this cast that above the page, and it just echoed to every culture in the world. So something it wasn't the 50s, and something deeper happened with that show that just connected. Maybe it was family. Maybe there's I think there were just great feelings on the show. Friends who gave before they took. They bet, real friends, family that cared, selflessness, priorities of family. I think all of that connected with the world. And we had that in our own lives. In January sometime, it'll be 50 years since the premiere of Happy Days. And all four of us are as close now as we were then. In fact, we have an open chat, open text line.
Oh, I love that.
20 seconds away from literally 20 seconds away from reaching anybody. And none of it's business. We never do business. It's all friends.
That's special. That's so neat to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
yeah, that's really super cool.
It's quite a, and Gary Marshall was very smart. And I actually, when I started directing and producing and writing, I really took that with me. He created a family. He cared about us. He sat us down early on and said, you guys are going to be very famous. And he says, and you're going to get a light on you. You basically don't deserve. But take that light and shine it on people that do deserve it. Take that light, and when someone has good things to offer, give them the platform. Give them the light. Make it happen. He also said, I want you guys to have a lasting career. You're probably not all going to be acting all your life, especially you, Anson. And he said, look, you should learn as many areas of the entertainment business as you can. So if you want to learn to direct, I'll set you up. He said, Paramount will be my college. It'll be your university. Shadow directors, go to the writing rooms, go to the editing rooms. Don't get in the way of yourself. Use this opportunity to educate yourself, and use this opportunity to have more hats for the future, and so you have a career. And we did. We are the biggest thing in the world, and none of us had egos. Nothing. People would ask, "Oh God, what's it like on the Paramount set? Oh, what's it like?" Well, Gary put up a hoop, a basket, and when we had to talk, when he had things to talk about, we shot hoops. That's at the back of stage 19. We shot hoops and talked and worked things out. That's what we did. Yeah, it was very tactile. And me, directorially, God, I shadowed Polanski doing Chinatown on the back lot. I shadowed John Schlesinger doing Day of the Living. I shadowed director doing Grease, all the dance numbers. My teachers are the best in the world, and they'd get sick of me because I'd be asking questions, But what's that lens for? And it was a PhD in entertainment, because we used Paramount as a college. We used it as our workplace to learn so many areas of the business. And I think that's why everyone's still involved, still productive, because we have those tools that Gary Marshall insisted we
I
learn.
love that, because that's probably the best advice. If I have any regrets for me, but also I was a female back then when I was working, and I don't know if I would have been as invited to shadow people. But how did you fit that in with school too, or were you out of school? You were out of school. There was no school. So you had
I was done. I was 23 years old when Happy Days started.
Right, of course, duh. Yeah, so that's the one regret I have, is not doing that. So I was going to say to you, if you ever are working and you would allow me to shadow you, I would love to. So I'm throwing that out into the universe.
Awesome.
So and let me ask you one more question about Ron. When you were working with him, could you tell that his interest was going to take him where it's taken him, and because obviously acting wasn't really his number one, right?
Right. Oh, right. He always, when he was 12 years old, he won the National Kodak Award for directing a film edited in the camera. So he was directing at 12 years old, and yeah, and he did. He was doing all these small films during Happy Days. Then Grand Theft Auto. He starred in, co-wrote the script with his dad, but under the promise from Roger Corman that if it does well, that he gets to direct the sequel, Eat My Dust. So he directed the sequel, Eat My Dust, and he started directing. And then the one film that really broke him out, I'm proud to say we did together. I created a film called Skyward with Bette Davis in 1980, and I exec produced, wrote the story, and Ron exec produced and directed. And that's the film that got him the attention. And when he did the film with Henry and God, Night Shift. When he did Night Shift, Alan Ladd saw Skyward to prove him to direct it. So that was the film that got him into feature films. Yeah,
that is cool. That is cool. For you as a director, I don't know if a lot of people are aware, but you've done Melrose Place and 90210, just so many of them. People, I'm not even sure if they're aware of your, directing abilities and how great your resume is. When you're directing and you're acting, which do you prefer?
Oh, directing for sure. That's why I went behind the camera. I've done a little acting here and there through the years, but 95% behind the camera. Yeah. Much
How
more.
hard was it? Like, because you did Boy Meets World, where you were also acting and directing, correct?
Boy Meets, that was interesting. I was directing Melrose Place at that time, and they wanted to do cameos with Tom and I. So we shot that at 6:30 in the morning because I had an 11 o'clock call directing Melrose Place. So they actually gave me this young guy to drive me there and then drive me to the set where I was directing. And he stuck around for the day. And God, what's his name? I'm trying to remember oh, please. Anyway, he ended up being one of the major producers on Friends and writers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. No, that was just I think it was one little scene, and we did it 6:30 in the morning without an audience. And and then I went up to.
I thought you directed it.
Yeah. But
have you directed anything you've acted in? Have you directed anything you've also acted in? Like, have you done the double hat?
You can probably look it online. I'm real proud of it. It's a show. It was a pilot called Harvest Time, and I starred in it too. Way different kind of show, but I think it's. I don't know if it's on. I don't know if it's on YouTube now or not. But it's called Harvest Time. And that was quite a challenge. And I directed and acted in it. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard when you
like that.
Anson, not just saying, on Happy Days you sang a lot also. And even though you made fun of your singing, in I think 1977, you had a very popular song that was on the radio, a top 100 song. At any point in your mind, did you think, you know what, I want to pursue this part of my career?
Well, I did do that. In fact, before Happy Days, I ended up doing a lot of musical theater, with limited dancing, and and I sang in clubs. So one day, it's also creating your own opportunities. I've always believed in seeing what you have, not what you don't have. Easy to see what you don't have. Back then, we weren't paid like actors today. $1 million an episode, $200,000 an episode. No, I was getting, at this point, it started at $900 an episode. I think I was at $1,200 an episode. And that's fine, but you're not getting, come on. But I met David Cassidy, where Partridge Family had ended, and he was telling me all the money he made off the show singing. And then while we're doing Happy Days, it was the last year of the Brady Bunch, and Barry Williams was telling me how much money they were making doing singing tours as the Brady Bunch. And I go, whoa. Then I kept thinking of Ricky Nelson on TV, and I thought, if I can convince Gary Marshall to put together a band and I get to sing, I bet you I could get a record contract, and I bet you I could get booked and make some money. So one morning, I found Gary. He was walking through the lot, and I asked if I could speak with him. He goes, "You talk to me later. I'm busy." I said, "Only take a minute, Gary." "All right, walk with me. Walk with me." So I did an elevator pitch. "Gary, you got girls on the show. You got cars on the show. We need a band in Arnold's. I sing." He goes, "You sing?" "Yeah." "Are you good?" I go, "Pretty good." "Really?" He goes, "Oh, a band. Oh, we can open." He goes, "Oh, that's." He said, "I used to be a drummer before I was a comedian, before I was an actor, before I do what I'm doing now." That's it. He goes, "You're good." "Yeah. There's a show coming up. It's a fraternity. Let's try it out. Let's try it out. Go speak to Bobby post-production, pick a song." I'm going, "I'm singing on national television, man. This is it." So then he stops and yells to me, "Anson, what? Pitch your bulldog." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Well, I believe you're good. I don't have time to listen, but if you're good, if you're bad, I'm going to get laughs. Elvis on Ed Sullivan sing to a bulldog." I go, "Great." So there I am on the first singing. I'm all shook up to a bulldog. "Well, bless my soul, what's wrong with me? I'm itching like So, but anyway, he liked it. He liked it, and he says, "Oh, I like it. That's good." So I was in charge of my music. And about every second or third episode, I do a song. I got signed to Chelsea Records, David Cassidy's label, and I was getting $1,200 a show and $17,000 a night doing concerts. So I would do red eyes all over go in red eyes, do concerts, all state fairs, amusement parks, wherever, for years. And then I did it for years, and I finally broke through. Sammy Davis Jr. approved for me to replace him for 4 nights at Harris Reno.
Wow.
So that was my first time in the club. And then from there, he recommended me to, anyway, another headliner, Lola Falana, and to co-headline with her at Resorts International in Atlantic City. I did, and we got good reviews and all that. At that point, I knew it was over. I said, I've gone as far as I could go in the musical. I mean, if I'm lucky, I'd end up in the lounge, and at that point, I was already behind the camera too. So I decided right then and there to stop negotiations with Vegas, the Sahara at the time, and go fully behind camera. That's what I did. The best decision I ever made. And that was it. I just dropped the music and went behind the camera. But it was a great time. It was a great experience.
Oh, I love that. So many good stories. God.
So
such a legend.
Anyway,
honestly, such a legend. Like, love it. Thank you for sharing all of it with us. Like, I just, you bring me back. Yeah, it takes me right back to my childhood. I think all of us, like, is such happier, easier times, and just, I don't know, it's fun to reminisce and, get back feeling that feeling that you had in those days when all of this was happening. So thank you so much for gracing us with being here and sharing your stories with us today.
Oh, you bet. Thank you so much. It's a lot of fun. And congrats on your success. Congrats. Awesome.
Thanks. I mean, just trugging along here. I think I'm going to go look for a shoe store employee this afternoon.
I made connections. I don't
Yeah, if you know anybody, text me. Yeah.
Anson, thank you so much. That
You
was
bet.
a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless everybody.
You too.
So good to see you. Yeah.
That was cool. I got to tell you, one of the funniest. I don't want to pull the what's your favorite episode of all time to him, because I'm sure they're all part of his life. But I was a huge Happy Days fan, Nicole. It was my favorite show growing up as a kid. Every picture my mom has from the time I was little to the time I was probably 2 weeks ago. No, 10 years old. But I'm giving the Fonzie thumbs up in every picture, because everything in my life was Happy Days Tuesday night. At least if I got to stay up, I had to see that one show before they let me see Laverne and Shirley and Three's Company and Taxi and everything else that was on Tuesday nights. But my favorite show on Happy Days was the one where, I don't know if you'll remember this, but they receive a dress in the mail from a family relative who had passed away, and it was like, Aunt Phyllis. And they all of a sudden, if you follow this show as it goes on, that dress turns into the dining room tablecloth. Then it turns in, and the next scene it's the curtains, it's the napkins. It's like, how big was she? Like, you never saw her. But as the show continued to go on, for 30 minutes, everything you realize in the house started to be the pattern of that dress that Marion Ross had put up. It was so damn funny.
Was it part of the storyline, or is it something?
Yeah, it was
you
part of
noticed
that. It's part
before?
of no,
Okay.
no. You just you had to watch and notice. They didn't bring up the fact like, oh my gosh, it's a tablecloth now. But her dress, one dress covered everything: napkins, tablecloths, curtains. It was, and then in your mind, you're like, God dang, how big was Aunt Phyllis? It was one of those that went through. But the show was written so well, and obviously people have had great careers from it and spinoffs. I know you were a Laverne and Shirley fan, and
Yeah.
it was really outstanding. And the way he was talking about Gary Marshall, boy, he sounded just like Gary Marshall. He had the accent down. The whole deal was pretty cool. And even the baseball part, A League of Their Own is one of my favorite movies that came out, and Gary Marshall's in that. And of course,
Wait, you like baseball? I didn't know you liked baseball. Wait, what?
I had one guy write in, because even though my hat's black, there's an LA on it. I had one guy write in who hates the Dodgers, who said, hey, I watched the show. I love what Nicole's doing. Take off that damn Dodger hat. It was one of the people that wrote in, which cracked me up. So I wrote back. I said, Nicole is approved wearing the baseball cap. So we're all set.
Listen, we represent LA. Yeah,
there you go.
We got the LA.
You got it down.
So Pinky Tuscadero was like, one of my first like role models. So I'm like, I guess it makes sense that she shot up her neighborhood because she was like this like rebel badass chick, right? But that was like kind of life changing. That was like somebody who you turned your head to as a young girl, going, wait, what? Who is she? What is she? So that was amazing. And then it's super funny. I have a funny Gary Marshall story because he was holding auditions here in his theater in Burbank, and it was for a TV show he was doing. I don't think it ran very long, but it was about sort of like a brothel house.
Mm-hmm.
I should look it up what it's called, but I didn't think to do that. And so I went and I did the audition with him and everything. And then he asked me to undress. I was like, and I'm in my head, I'm thinking, what underwear do you have on? Like, what underwear are you wearing? That's like, like my mom always made us think about our underwear. I don't know what that is about. Socks and underwear. You don't ever want to be caught with dirty socks or underwear. So I was like, let me check. Let me go check. So I had to go look to see like what was I wearing. And it was awkward. It was awkward as all hell. But it was Gary Marshall. So it was like,
yeah, I'm
gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I did not get the job. I wish he had decided that before I undressed. But
you're right. It's Gary Marshall,
and it's Gary Marshall, and these are things that are required of you as actors that people don't get and they don't understand.
Have you ever been on? Have you ever been on a set like that Pinky Tuscadero situation where really her life was set up to be on the number one show, and they wrote her in to be Fonzie's girlfriend, but yet the entire cast hated her because she was unstable? Have you ever been part of a show where you saw someone get kicked off the set or written out of a show because of their behavior off the set?
I've, I don't think off the set people care that much, especially anymore. I've been on shows where people's behavior on set was
Really?
almost intolerable and was strange. And I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to call anybody out.
I don't expect you to.
But you sit there and you go, how is this? How are we still shooting? How is this still happening? How is this still okay? But when you're dealing with artists, it's like musicians, artists, actors, whatever it is, there's wild personalities. There's a lot of different characters. There's a lot of different personalities. There's just a lot. So, you run into this, you do. And I don't know, somehow I like sit back and watch it like an entertainment, like I'm not overly offended by much. So I sit back and go, oh my God, did he just really throw that chair across the set?
No way.
And it's funny, but did he really just push that person? And you
Oh
just sit
no.
there and you just watch it all unfold, knowing that everything's going to be okay. We're not doing, we're not life saving here. We're just making movies. We're just
You
making
know what?
entertainment.
I never thought of that. I always thought of if I was an actor, what would bother me would be someone that was late. Like we're all ready to go
Right.
and you can't get here on time. That's all I
Yeah,
always
that's
thought
annoying.
you dealt with. I never thought of people pushing each other or throwing stuff where,
Oh,
there are other
Jesus.
issues
Late,
all the time.
forget it. That's easy. Yeah, late, no problem. Do something else. All you're
That's
going to do is
easy.
sit around most of the day anyway. That's set life. So being late, no big deal. But yeah, no, people have crazy tempers.
Oh
Or,
yeah. Oh
or
yeah.
episodes, or like, or they're using, and I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that goes on set, but it's like, as long as the project gets made, that's the focus.
Yep. No, I understand. All right, let's get to your mailbag. Okay, Nicole's mailbag again.
Yeah.
It's easy. All you have to do is go to the website right there, Perfectly Twisted Pod, and you see the mailbag right at the top, and you ask a question, and Nicole will answer it on there. So here we go. We have a couple here. Well, the first one's from Tom Kara. Okay, and this one is Nicole. Back in the '90s, there was a movie you did shortly after leaving Baywatch. It was named Melissa, and was blasted as this edgy stripper movie that really showcased your range as an actor. Unfortunately, shooting was never completed, and only a botched version was released to DVD much later under the name Secret Sins. Can you finally tell us what the whole truth about that movie?
Well, I would like to know the whole truth about that movie, to be honest with you. Here's what I can tell you, what I am privy to, and what I do know is, we shot in New York. I flew out in advance, and we were going to all the strip clubs, hanging out, getting to know the girls, learning about the culture, just learning that lifestyle. And then we started shooting, and I don't know, there was some kind of production halt because there was a fire.
Yeah.
There was a fire that, like, in the prop house and all the wardrobe and everything like this. So everything halted after just a few days of shooting. And I ended up spending like 9 months in New York on this project altogether. So, the movie never happened, and we never finished filming, and it was a whole, debacle. But that's when I learned that I could never live in New York, just like visiting. But I got to spend that time there, and listen, I was in a great spot. I was right across the street from the park on the Upper East Side. All like amazing, in this really old hotel. So the rooms were really big. So it was like I had this huge apartment on the park on the Upper East Side. So I was in heaven. I didn't care. But I did try to watch it recently because something popped up, and I was like, oh, they made a movie out of it. Because I know I only shot about 2 days or 3 days or something like that. And I was like, there's a movie? So I started to watch it. I couldn't get through it. I turned it off. So I don't know. I just couldn't even watch my own project. So I don't know. And it's weird. And there was some voice that was supposed to be mine, I think, that was narrating it. Sounds nothing like me. I couldn't get through it. Maybe I'll give it another shot another time. But so to answer the question, sort of, not really in a roundabout way, is I think they must have sold it. I think they must have sold whatever they did shoot, and somebody continue to shoot stuff or put stuff together of already shot footage. I don't know what that is, and I couldn't even watch it to even have a better idea how to explain it. But that's not the movie I signed up for. It's not the movie that was released. It was a mess, a huge mess, but
Oh
a
my gosh.
great time, but a great experience.
Does it work? Just curious. Does it work out in contracts that even if a movie doesn't get completed, you still get paid? Do you at least get
Yeah.
paid for it? Good. I'm glad.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
you're paid. Yeah. Money
Good.
goes into like
Good.
an escrow account before money is there. So, I mean, there are things like I haven't been paid for. That's why we have SAG and stuff. They go back and they'll fight for it. I was not paid on certain projects, and then like years later, SAG comes through with a
Cool.
with a paycheck because that person somehow got money in the account, and they were like, "Oh, you owe one of our members," and they'll take it. So,
Good.
yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah, they look
All
out
right,
for us.
We got a few more. This is from Shad Jones, and they're all music related. Okay, number one question: do you like hip hop music?
I do like hip hop. I do. It's not my number one, but I like it. I really like most music. I'm just kind of a music kind of person. I just I like listening to everything. But yeah, hip
Me
hop is
too.
cool.
There you
Yeah.
go. Next question: do you like the Spice Girls? And if so, who's your favorite Spice Girl?
Do I like the Spice Girls? Listen, I love the Spice Girls. I love their movement. I love what they stand for. I love how they influence people. I love everything about it. I am not a Spice Girl fan as far as like listening to the music. I don't know the music very well. If I had to pick one, I mean, I guess I would have to go with Posh because like I don't know, her style is so dope. She's so cutting edge and cool, and I don't think she's ever smiled. And I don't know. I love her.
All right, here we go.
Married to like the hottest guy in the world with like the most beautiful kids and never smiles. I'm like, okay, how do you
you know what?
do
That's a
do
good
that?
point. I never noticed that she doesn't. You're right. I don't think I've ever seen her
Smile.
smile. Yeah,
No, she's funny.
you're right. She has a
but-
perfect life. I mean, right?
Yeah, impeccable
Attractive
style.
family, millions of dollars. Yeah, what are you upset
She's
about?
gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. Question 3. How edgy do you love your music? Like how edgy
I'm good.
will
I'm
you
good
go
with edgy.
music-wise?
I'm good with
Good.
edgy. Sometimes my kid has to tell me, like, Mom, turn that song off. Because there's other people in the car.
I always love it when
So
the
I'm
kid
like,
becomes the
oh,
parent.
okay.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, the kid, Mom, turn that song off. It's so inappropriate right now. I'm like, okay, you're right.
Oh,
But it's their
that is
generation
cool.
too. It's their
Yeah.
generations of music. This like Ice Spice Girl. Is she kidding? Is she kidding what she talks about, what she raps about? I'm like, that I get a little bit. Okay, so let me take that back. I am very open. I'm very open. The WAP gets me a little uncomfortable, and some of
Yeah.
this Ice Spice stuff gets me a little bit like awkward. I have to be alone to listen to that stuff. I'm weird if it's in front of anybody else because it's almost like watching porn. It's like having
Yeah.
porn playing and you're sitting next to somebody, right? Like it's that explicit. So I guess that's where I draw the line. I don't know.
That's funny. That's funny. All right, so we'll wrap it up. Anson Williams was great. That was a lot of fun.
Cool.
That was a lot of fun.
You know what I
Enjoyed
wanted
it.
to ask him about? You know what I wanted to ask him about that I didn't, and I don't think people realize is that his family, someone in his family is who his original last name was Heimlich.
Yes.
And they created the Heimlich maneuver. But
His
I
uncle,
figured he's probably been asked that 50 million times, so I didn't want to bug him with that.
you know what?
But,
I was thinking the same thing, Nicole. It's his uncle, his dad's brother.
Yeah, but then his dad changed the name, right? To like he changed the spelling of the name to like disassociate from it a little bit or something like that.
Yes.
My story to tell. I don't know the facts. It's just what I read, and we know you can't believe everything you read online. But so cool. The Heimlich
That
maneuver,
is cool.
like,
That is cool. Yeah,
super cool.
that is funny. That is really cool. Again,
it was fun.
That was a lot of fun. Again, we ask you to subscribe, right? We want you to subscribe to the show.
Yes.
We want you to leave comments, everything that get an idea. You know, Nicole wants to know, what do you think? And so, you know, obviously she cares and I care. And I love doing this every single week with you. It's a lot of fun bringing guests on like Anson and go back and listen to some of the previous shows as well. If you're new to watch them Perfectly Twisted.
Yes, please do. Please do. And leave us a review and leave us a comment and give us suggestions, all that good stuff. And thanks for listening.
Good deal.